Good morning and welcome to Cahill United Methodist Church. We are thrilled that you've taken time out of your busy schedules to join us for worship. As you can see, I am not Pastor Nick. He has the morning off, so you get to spend some time with me. My name is Cherie Robinson, and I have been attending Cahill for the last 4 years. You usually see me sitting up there in the choir loft with Gina and Tracy, probably smiling and giggling and getting looks from Lynn. Pastor Nick called and asked me to speak this morning. I do not think he realized what he was really getting himself into. But first, I'd like to share with you my favorite Bible verse. 1 Corinthians 13:4. Love is patient, love is kind. Love does not want what belongs to others. It does not brag, and it is not proud. I was born into an Air Force family in Saitama, Japan during a typhoon. My daddy was a Russian linguist and translated messages for the United States government. So, yes, you could consider him a Russian spy. I do. So, we've lived all over the world. My mama, who attends Cahill, worked extremely hard at raising the 4 of us kids. My older sister, Cherie, is retired now from the dental industry. My brother, Cherie, is currently a detective with the Fort Worth Police Department. My younger sister, Charmaine, who attends Cahill, believe it or not, was born in Peshawar, Pakistan. She has been an elementary school teacher here in Alvarado for 27 years. From Pakistan, we moved to Germany, and we were blessed to be able to travel all over the world in a 1971 VW bus. It was in Germany that I have my earliest recollection of actually going to church. We would drive off base to a German church, and they were kind enough to allow us to use their church after their services were over on Sunday mornings. I remember sneaking a peek at the German Bibles and hymnals. Of course, everything was in German, so as a second grader, I didn't know what the heck I was looking at. And of course, my mama and my older sister both sang in the choir and in the cantata Christmas series. Daddy retired here in Texas to Carswell Air Force Base, and in 1977, he settled us all here in Burleson. I swore if Daddy had ever retired that I would never move again, and none of us have. We have all lived right here in the Metroplex within a few miles of each other. It was at Burleson High School that I met and fell in love with this handsome, tall trombone player. And I'm thrilled to say that even 40 years later, I still get butterflies in my tummy whenever he walks into a room. God blessed us with 2 wonderful children. Samantha is a telecommunications officer for CareFlight, and Daniel, who is the manager of a parts warehouse. They gave us 3 of the greatest grandkids that a grandma could ever ask for. Hayden, who is 10, belongs to Samantha, and then Piper is 9, Sutton is 7, and they both belong to Daniel. In case you can't tell, I love my family very, very much. They are the most important things to me in the world. Throughout my life, I've always gone to Sunday school and gone to church. I was baptized when I was 15 years old at a little Baptist church just down the road, Happy Hill. Then, after Joe and I married back in 1982, our family began to grow, and we needed to find a new church home that would allow our children to grow and to be loved. Remember, it takes a village to raise a child. You cannot do it alone. That's why in 1988 we decided to join a small Cumberland Presbyterian church where we had several friends that were beginning to start their families also. It was perfect for us. Everyone knew everyone. We couldn't walk through the front door without a handshake or a hug or a kiss. We belonged to a wonderful adult Sunday school class. Over the years, we were Sunday school teachers to the youth and to the children. We were church camp counselors every summer. I taught children's choir for over 10 years. We had children's choir Christmas pageants there every Christmas that would blow your mind. One year we had 73 joyful kids singing and dancing about the birth of Jesus Christ. Joe was a deacon and my mama was a church elder. We all sang in the chancel choir, including my dad, my sister, me, my mom, my son, my daughter. We all sang in the chancel choir. If we weren't at work or with the kids in school, then we were at church. As you can guess, that was home to us. But all good things must come to an end. And after 25 years of church growth, it was time for us to move on. We needed something different, but what that was, we didn't know. For a couple years, we didn't even attend church. But my mama and younger sister, Charmaine, started attending a little country church called Cahill United Methodist Church. They would invite us to join them, but we were so burnt out, and I'll admit our faith was even a little shaky. After a while, my strong mama asked, "Why don't you come and go to Cahill with us?" And of course, I would tell her no, because we weren't ready. Then, on October 23rd, 2012, my daddy died unexpectedly after a sudden illness. His death took our family completely by surprise and shook us to our absolute core. I was completely lost without him. We were completely lost without him. Utter devastation. I had been a daddy's girl all my life, and suddenly my daddy was just gone. There was not a day goes by that I don't miss him now. My parents were married 57 years. He wanted to be cremated. So now he rests in a gorgeous wooden box on top of the buffet in Mama's dining room at her house. And I talk to him when I come in the house. "Hi, Daddy, how are you?" And I honestly think somewhere up there he talks back to me, because I know he's watching over me. Not soon after that, my resilient and persistent mama again asked, "Come and go with us to Cahill." Of course, we weren't ready. Then, as if losing my daddy wasn't bad enough, my husband Joe, on his 50th birthday, suffered a massive stroke. The love of my life, my firefighter, my everything, he was down for the count. My healthy 50-year-old firefighters are not supposed to have strokes. One half of his body was paralyzed. Our life was in shambles. What were we going to do? I should never have doubted God and my husband. Within 3 months of that stroke that left him paralyzed, not able to walk, barely able to speak, my husband was back on the job as an engineer for the Fort Worth Fire Department, driving his precious fire truck for the city of Fort Worth. Joe was truly a walking, talking testament to willpower, hard work, modern medicine, and the power of prayer. Then Mama asked again, "Why don't you come to Cahill?" Of course, we still really weren't ready. Life went on. Several years later, in November of 2015, I was forced to retire completely from Freightliner, a job I had worked at for 12 years. I retired because of a debilitating hereditary degenerative nerve disease. Say that one 3 times real fast. Needless to say, I was distraught. I lost all those 12 years of my work, part of my identity, my work, my friends. You know, it's never really the same once you leave an employer. Relationships do change. You aren't there for those Monday morning football discussions, Taco Tuesdays, the birthdays or the birthday cakes, the laughing and the jokes. But Christmas time rolled around that year, and Mama asked again, Why don't you join us at Christmas for the Christmas Eve service? My mama can be very persistent, and I don't know what made this year any different from any other, but this time I said yes. I can only guess that he had plans for us. I was truly nervous about attending the Christmas Eve candlelight service. I guess I wasn't sure if the magic of a candlelight service would ever be the same as it was in years past. You see, besides Easter service and Christmas Eve candlelight service, they're my two most favorite services of the year. If this service didn't meet up to my expectations, then I was scared that I would never to return to church again. We all dressed up in our Sunday best to go to this tiny little Methodist church in the country called Cahill. The grandkids were enthusiastic, to say the least, with the excitement of Christmas Eve. We arrived. As we began to exit our car, the butterflies came dive-bombing like torpedoes in my stomach. We walked up the front stairs, and immediately we were greeted by "Merry Christmas." The sanctuary doors opened, and ushers welcomed us in with good cheer. I looked nervously around for my mama and sister so that we would feel some sort of safety in numbers, but instead I was greeted by who I now know as Cherie Gallagher and Mickey Cantrell, who is our official Cahill greeters. Then there was this woman who was going around hugging everyone. Back then we could hug. And oh no, she set her sight on me, and she headed straight for me with this gleam in her eye. She grabbed my hand and just shook my whole arm off. She introduced herself and then warned me that she was a hugger. She pulled me in for this huge hug. And of course, you could probably guess that that was Gina Marty, our official Cahill hugger. We finally found Mama and Charmin and squeezed into what's now known as our pew, right there in the back. After the appropriate kisses and hugs were all passed out to family members, I had time to look around the sanctuary. There were evergreen boughs and wreaths and white bows adorning the walls and the entire sanctuary. Beautiful red poinsettias lined down the center aisle and all over the altar. And then I saw it, the Christmas tree. It stood there gorgeously adorned with gold and white Christmas. In my heart, I think I was holding my breath, worried that I would never see another Christmas tree. It was just beautiful. I wondered to myself what loving hands had sewed the stitches holding the Christmas together. I knew there was love in this church. As we sang the Christmas carols, I knew there was love in this church. As we dimmed the sanctuary lights and carefully lit each other's candles, the magical Christmas Eve glow began to fill each row and each person. I knew there was love in this church. As we began to sing Silent Night, with all of our candles raised high, I knew there was love in this church, and I knew that Cahill was our new church home. Thank you for allowing me to share just a little bit of my story with you this morning. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace.
Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate all the love and support that you all continue to give this church. Now, we are able to do the mission that we feel called to do in this world because of your generosity. And so if you feel led to give at this time, there are two different ways that we would encourage you to do so. One, we have a PayPal account, and our official handle is @CahillUMC. Or on PayPal, you can search the email address cahillunitedmethodistchurch@gmail.com. Or you can send your checks in the mail to 8501 East FM 917, Alvarado, Texas 76009. Thank you all so much for everything you continue to do in this community.